Today we want to discuss something about the choice of dictionaries that you need to be using in your work, in your translation work. For example, in medical, you can have, of course, Al-Hitti. It's a well-known dictionary, which is this one. This one. Now this one is really a good dictionary to use. Basically this one is one of the most popular ones, but there are others like this one as well, which is also a good dictionary to use in the medical. However, before you do this bilingual dictionaries, these are two bilingual dictionaries, you need to know them first as I said before about medical translation, that you need to look at these terms, and there are 300 to 400 terms that are based from Greek and Latin, which you need to know them really well first before you can monolingually, i.e. in the original English text. There is a dictionary called this dictionary here, which is a very excellent dictionary, actually one of the best dictionaries. This one is going to give you a good background about the word and what it means. That is in the medical field. So that is a monolingual, which you need to be doing research in. As I said earlier about the steps that you need to do when you are translating, the first is, of course, to read the text, the original text, to understand it. Then you do research and find out all these words that are difficult to understand, terminology, and the medical words consist of more than one term. Put them together in order to understand what the term is about, or the word is about. After you do the research, then you start you put all these words and their equivalents before you start translating. You put them in a list, and then once you have them in a table, with English and Arabic words and what they mean, each one, and all these different researches that you do, then you start translating. When you start translating, it becomes very easy once you understand the text really well in English. I'm assuming that we're translating from English into Arabic, this medical. So the first step is to read the English text really well and understand it. Second is to highlight all the terminology that you are not sure about, which you need to search in the monolingual dictionaries first, and then in the bilingual dictionaries. And then number 3 is the hat of the translator, where you start translating yourself. Make sure that when you translate, don't do too many versions. When you translate, you do the first translation as best as you can, so that you save time that way, and you wouldn't make a lot of mistakes. So don't move from one sentence to the next unless you understand really well what you are translating, that you have actually already translated that first sentence correctly before you move to the second one. So never do a rough draft of translation, and then another draft, then another draft. No, you start and you do the translation as best as you can first time round. You finish the whole translation in one go, and then you move onto the fourth stage, which is wearing the hat of the proofreader, where you check the source text with the target text together using the ruler, so that you don't miss any lines and you don't miss any words that you didn't translate. So you check them thoroughly so that you see nothing is missing. And you are checking English and the Arabic, and then finally the last stage is when you read it as a target language reader, i.e. you take the target text and you read it and make sure that you understand it well, or the person who reads it for you, usually an expert. Try to get somebody who is, if in the medical field, you ask a nurse or a doctor, or to ask them to see if they understand what you have translated. If they understand it, then you are actually there. Otherwise, you have to redo the areas where they ask you to explain. And best of luck. Of course, there will be also other dictionaries. But for the Arabic, for searching for Arabic words, you can go for alwarraq.net, and this one is really a good website for Arabic words, lisan al-Arab, and very classics in Arabic, which are very, very useful for you when you want to research a text from Arabic into English. That is another thing which you need to do. The dictionaries that are in Arabic, we've got lisan al-Arab, we've got صحاح, معجم الوسيط. معجم الوسيط is good for the word, for example, الرجل الكهل means the one who is between 40 and 50. And for example, the word al-hut means fish, whether it's small or big, and so on. Also, I mean, the other point I want to raise is about good dictionaries from English into Arabic, from Arabic into English. From Arabic to English, of course, there's Edward Lane. He's got very good dictionary from Arabic into English. He did a collection when he went to Egypt in the 18th century, actually in the 19th century. He took all the manuscripts from the Muhammad Ali, I believe, at the time. He gave him all the Arabic scripts, so he worked on them, and he did 13 volumes of the dictionary that he's got, which you can download online for all the words, for all the letters in the Arabic language. There is another dictionary which is a good one. It's called the Hansver. He's German, and his dictionary is also good. These two dictionaries are the best dictionaries from Arabic into English, and they tend to give you good options and good different types of variations on the word. But they work in the same way as al-mu'jam in Arabic works, which is you go to the root of the word first before you can go to any form of the verbs that this word is. As in the case istafhamtum or istafhama, you'll go for the word fahama, and then it is the sixth form of that verb, or the 10th form according to Hansver. He puts it at the 10th form, which is number 10. So you look for the word fahama first, and under fahama there is a number 10, and you look what that equivalent in English would be for that one. So that's for the dictionaries that are from Arabic into English. These are the best ones. Of course, there are others like al-Mawrid. It is good only for legal, I think, for legal equivalences or equivalence, and that is really from Arabic to English. Now we'll move on to the English to Arabic. The best ones I have here for you is this one here, which is a dictionary for Hassan al-Karmi. Of course, this dictionary is not well known in the Arab world, but it needs to be really well known because it's one of the best dictionaries that I've come across from English into Arabic. And I use it. I actually was introduced to it in 1995 when I was in conference in Tangier. And it is really good. It's called Al-Mughni Al-Kabir or Al-Akbar, and it is one of the best dictionaries that I've come across from Arabic into English, from English into Arabic. There is another one which is Al-Mawrid, like Al-Mawrid is not, but Al-Mawrid is not that as good as this one here, for a general dictionary. Of course, there are other dictionaries, specialized dictionaries in business. There are lots of specialized dictionaries. In legal, in the law, there are dictionaries as well. But I know Al-Faruqi for the legal is a good one for you to. I'm not sure whether I have a copy of it in here, but I have got a dictionary which is for the scientific, and for this is for the scientific, and for the this one, which is really useful if you are doing petrochemicals or petroleum and related to these topics and subjects. It will be really useful, and it's very, very good scientific and technical terms which is using. But really, I mean, what I said about terminology, that Latin and Greek, which are 300 to 400 roots, if you learn them, they are available on the internet. Once you learn them, like aqua means water, you know, when you use it, aquarium, for example, it means حوض الماء, حوض الأسماك. So really, these terms are not only in medical, they are used also in scientific and technical terms. So you can actually learning them will help you in different areas and different subjects. But of course, in the legal ones, Al-Faruqi they have from Arabic to English, which is a good dictionary. Al-Faruqi. I don't seem to have a copy of it here somehow, but it will be useful. Talking about dictionaries as well is when you are writing, Roget's thesaurus is a good one for synonyms. It helps you in when you are rewriting some quotations to find some sort of synonyms that can help you rewrite a quotation. So it's a useful thing. Also, when you are trying to understand the monolingual, when you're reading the ST, and if the ST is in English, it will help you quite a lot in that as well. So I wish you all the best, and I think I've covered some of these dictionaries that might be useful to you, which you need to work on before you start translating. So the steps, again, just to tell you, is that ST is first to read it and understand it as best as you can first before you start translating. This is the first step, which is as a source language reader. You read the text to understand it. Then you move on to becoming a researcher to find out all the terms and all the concepts that you don't understand. You ask, you use translation tools. And translation tools are really, they are either books like encyclopedias, and not Wikipedia. Please don't use Wikipedia. Use Encyclopedia Britannica, for example. Use very good, reliable sources so that you can actually understand the text really well. In the tools, you can use either dictionaries, encyclopedias, reference books, even experts. You can ask experts. If you're doing it in, let's say, in the law, you ask lawyers, what do they mean by this term and that term in one language. And of course, in the legal system, legal translation, you've got two legal systems which are quite different. So you have to be studying both legal systems in a way, or you need to ask people in both systems, lawyers who are Arabic speaking and lawyers who are English speaking, if you can. The same applies to medical. If you are actually doing medical, you ask experts in the medical field, because they are the best people who will actually guide you into understanding the ideas in the first language that you are translating from, before you can move on and translate it. So you do a lot of research, and then you move on to becoming a translator, and wear the hat of translator, and you translate all the work in one go, doing the sentences as best as you can, and don't actually say, I will think about it later on. Make sure that you don't move to the next sentence unless you understand the text quite well, and you write it really well in the target language as well. I mean, of course, when you do the proofreading, which is the fourth step, you might find some errors and things like that. You can always do something about them and correct them. And then when at the end is the final step, which is to read the text on its own, as if it is written in Arabic originally, when you're translating from English into